ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. One disciple has felt that all his questions were answered in the presence of a master. He has not raised any questions physiologically, but whatever the questions he felt were answered by the master in his presence. So he asked the master what he felt and further asked him as to what type of a questions the disciple has to ask his master. Then the master told him like this: my dear, a true disciple is not supposed to ask any questions. He is supposed to drink only the presence of the master. So the disciple, the true disciple, has had a glimpse. He felt some truth in the presence of the master. He wants to become that truth, and the distance hurts the disciple. So remember, mind, the questions arises in the mind, but the mind never receives the answers. Though the questions arise in the mind is not prepared to receive the answers. Questions arise in the mind and answer happens in the heart. So the heart, it knows how to be loving, how to know, how to be grateful, and how to be thankful. So whatever the answer in the presence of the master, it happens only in the heart. So the disciple, whatever the questions the disciple has in his mind for many lives, when he comes into contact with the live master, or when he finds his own master, then the answers happens for all the questions raised over millions of years. The answer the only one answer for whatever the number of questions, there will be only one answer, and it happens in the heart, in the presence of the master. And it dispels all the darkness of ignorance which he was carrying for many and many lives. So that is the power of the presence of a master. And the to come into contact and to be in tune with the master is a grace, is a benediction of the existence of the divinity. So the head manufactures all questions, but the answer, the only one answer happens in the heart, in the presence of a master. So to learn this truth and to be in tune with the presence of the master is the gift which a disciple derives from the existence. So when the disciple is in deep love and in tune with the master, he connects, the disciple connects himself with the truth of the master and with the silence, with the inner silence of the master. That's how the master and disciple come together and become one in that rare moments of realization of divinity. It only happens in the presence and in tune with a live master. Now, it is like this. You see, you want to see the music. You want to hear the light. So, but you know that the faculties, the special faculties of each part of the body, you can't see the music, you cannot see the light. So, you cannot hear the music with the eyes, you cannot see the light with the ears. So, you know that each part of the body has got its own limitations and capacities, and beyond that it cannot perceive anything. So similarly, when you see a poet or a painter or a musician or a dancer, see, the song which you hear and enjoy, that song born out of a poet, you dwell in that joy by hearing or by reading that poetry. But if you want to see the man, the man in the poet, then you feel and you get frustrated. So don't try to see the man in the poet. Don't try to see the man in the painter, in the painting of the painter. Don't try to see the man in the painter, because that is very beautiful. The painting is very beautiful. The poetry is very melodious. But if you see that, if you closely observe, if you want to see the man, you try to see the poet in the man, the singer in the man, the dancer in the man, but you feel and get frustrated. Why? Because the moments in which that poetry is born out of that poet, or the painting born out of that painter, or the sculpture born out of that sculptor, the dance born out of the dancer, it happens and happened and happens only in rare moments, when the window of the existence opens and a breeze, a slight breeze comes into them. And in those rare moments, in those very rare and precious few moments, it happens. It comes, the breeze comes on its own through the window of existence. But it, as it comes, it also goes. So the poet, when he wants to write poetry, or when the singer wants to sing a song or create a song, he cannot do it at his will. Only in those very few rare moments it happens. So you see that difference, because in other moments, at other times, when you see the man, you see that man in a socially boycotted places where you cannot even imagine the living or the presence of that such kind of people in such kind of places, and you get and you suffer from that confusion and contradiction. That's why you should not see the man. You, whatever you enjoy, whatever, whoever is that poet, and when it is born, you enjoy that poetry, you enjoy that painting, you enjoy that dance, but do not try to see the person or man in those rare gestures of the existence. So, but whereas a mystic is full of love towards the divinity, towards the creation, towards that invisible and all merciful God. So, because he doesn't have, the mystic doesn't have a window to get opened and closed up, but the window of existence is already available to him, as he is the one and he is the part of the existence. So, it is like a breathing, it is like a heartbeat of a person. It goes on continuously, uninterruptedly. It's a constant awareness of the mystic, of the presence of the divinity in him, because he is a part and one with that divinity. So, even when he is asleep, and even when he is awake, so his answers, whatever the answers comes from him, they are very spontaneous. But whereas in the case of others like poets, painters and all that, they cannot resort to such spontaneous responses of the existence. Only in rare moments it happens, and they become such kind of people. You find them very ordinary, because they may rise to a high peak, but in that high peak they will be there only for a very few moments, and again they fall back. When they fall back even below an ordinary man. So, that is the difference between a mystic and others. So, when a mystic extends or wishes and greets the disciples, remember, he is, the master is extending his greetings, he is extending his reverence, he is extending his gratefulness, thankfulness, not to the disciple, but to the godliness present in the disciple. In fact, the master reminds the disciple to awaken to that indwelling godliness available in the center of the being of the disciple. And to that center of being, the disciple has never gone so far. So he touches that center of being where the disciple has never gone so far. And the way of expression of gratitude by the disciple to the master is to realize that godliness which the master is addressing and awakening in the center of his being. That is the grace, that is the love of the master towards the disciple. So, thank you.